Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Garden of Eden. It's a beautiful day. We have some fresh flowers growing on the oleander finally. That's starting to come into bloom. And once again, our busy little birds have emptied the bird feeder. Time for a refill. Keep everybody happy. Another little gift for the birds here this morning. Our bird feeder that we have had much success with. This is actually the second one we've had. Cracked a little bit on the top, and before I knew that Mark could fix it, I ordered another one. Well, as you can see, Mark was able to apply some 2-part epoxy to it, and it works great again. So now I have an extra one. So I think I'm going to set it up anyway, because perhaps maybe I won't have to refill the bird feeders so often. And I have the extra shepherd's hook, so let's do it. So in the packaging, there was this. Curious to check out this website and see what information is out there. Everythingbirds.com. A new and engaging way to enhance your birding experience. So as you can imagine, we go through a lot of birdseed here in the Garden of Eden. A lot of birdseed. And so what I do is I purchase in bulk. I buy safflower seed and a finch mix, and then I pour it all into here, into this big container, and mix it all together. And so because this then gets very heavy, I put a portion of it in here, and then this is what I use to go refill the bird feeder. We also use this high energy mix from Lyric, which they absolutely love. It is a mix of nuts and dried fruit that they go wild over. And what I love about this mix is that literally the ingredients are all things that you would read, that you can read, that you would eat yourself, and there's nothing that you can't pronounce. It's all just true stuff. So if there's one thing I've learned, is that you don't refill the bird feeder inside the patio, because that just makes a mess. Hi everybody. So look at the difference between the brand new one and the one that gets out here in the weather and the sun and gets pooped on by the birds. Pretty different, huh? I usually do this two-handed. Okay, it's full. And as you can see, the birds are anxiously awaiting me to leave. But I've got one more to fill, so let's go. Okay. So I'm curious now with the birds if they will take to this right away, or if they're gonna worry about it because it's in a new location, it's new and shiny. We'll have to see. Okay, and our last one is this little feeder that I bought. I'll dump out the old stuff there. If anybody wants to go for that, they can. This has been a great little feeder. They just kind of pick it right through the holes. I definitely can't do this one-handed, so stand by. So usually I fill that all the way to the top, but we are out of bird food, so it's time to reorder. And I usually like to throw a little bit here in this basket because they like to eat from there. But we'll have to get a fresh bag. Never ending. Well, and as soon as we walk away, the birds start showing up. Now they've got a new one over here. We'll see how they like that. So we just witnessed an egg laying. If I can zoom in, oh, there it is. The proper word for that is ovipositing. So a butterfly just laid that tiny little egg. So hard to get it in focus, it's so small. Well, good morning, everyone. You know, not all orchids have a scent. Most, as a matter of fact, do not. So I came out this morning to check on one of my orchids that typically does have a beautiful smell to it, and I noticed that some of the flowers have suddenly seemed to disappear a little bit. Not that they're falling off, but that something is eating my flowers. Well, lo and behold, we have an intruder. Hello. Now, typically, most people would say, oh gosh, I don't know what that is, kill it. That's not how we operate here in the Garden of Eden. I have a book that will tell me exactly what kind of caterpillar that is and what kind of butterfly or moth it's going to produce. So I'm going to do a little research, see where he belongs, certainly not on my orchids, and maybe we can offer him a different plant in the garden that won't be so traumatic. And look, this has a little spike coming out, so this plant is going to put out another orchid. So I'm very excited about that. And let's see where this guy belongs and what he's called. So after a little bit of research, come to find out, this is called a cutworm, and they are pretty invasive and do quite a bit of damage. So instead of risking a lizard not liking the flavor of this particular worm, I'm going to go ahead and put him right in the trash. Hey, while we're over here, I decided to check on our little butterfly garden that we put in the other day. And lo and behold, one of our giant milkweed flowers opened, and it doesn't have a single bite in it. So that's something new, because usually I wind up with chunks out of them from the baby caterpillars eating them, like the leaf you see there. So that is a giant milkweed flower, and it is beautiful. Okay, Isabella, it's time to go to work. Come on. Let's go check on our milkweed. Remember when I said that these were not planted to be pretty? They are food. So I venture to say that in another day or so, this will also be down to sticks. Benefit of all of this, of course, is that we eventually get caterpillars. So here is a chrysalis. So that will eventually darken in a few days, and a butterfly will emerge. Here is another chrysalis tucked away underneath our pineapple. And here is a caterpillar preparing himself to go into chrysalis. See that? They start to hang upside down, and eventually their outer skin breaks away, and they twirl and twirl and twirl until they spin themselves into a chrysalis. Very exciting. So a couple of updates I'd like to share since the last time we were here in the garden. I had shown you that the caterpillars had devoured the milkweed, and they had. But look at how quickly it starts to grow back already. These are all spent seed pods. This is a little seed pod here, and I can break this off and show you. So the milkweed gives off a little seed pod. See that? And when I break this open, you'll see the fibers and how it becomes very feathery. See that? And that is how the little seed pods get carried and blown in the breeze. Of course, I don't want them to go anywhere. I want them to stay right here. So what I wind up doing is I find a little spot and I just kind of open them up and mash them. If that can get out of the way, you can see what I'm doing. And I just kind of mash them down into the ground, and then I'll water that now because eventually that'll grow up some new growth. So anyway, you can see how nicely they're already starting to come back. And we talked about that we already have a couple of chrysalis. We've got 2 here under the eave, and the one hiding down here, camouflaged, the other new thing is that we have removed the pink bougainvillea that we initially put and put in this yellow one. So I'll give you an explanation as to why. So if you remember, and I'll cut and add a picture of the old one here. The old one was more bushy and round as opposed to starting off as a vine. So it's going to be much harder to get that one to now go into a vine mode. Whereas this one will actually is already in a vine mode and will continue to go up the trellis and join the other one, the pink one, that is already vining. Let's take a look at that one. So we talked about this one last time. Look at how it has grown up and into the tubicina tree and is now kind of getting ready to crust over top. My goal is that the yellow one will eventually grow up and meet the pink one, and the 2 colors together will be absolutely beautiful. So that's what's new, and I'm keeping an eye on these butterflies. Let's see if we can capture one emerging. Although it's a cloudy day, the swimming pool looks very inviting, and as hot as it is, it will probably get some use today.